meaningfully to society. Ultimately, this Malaysian-Indonesian educational cooperation demonstrates that rights-based, coordinated policies can overcome structural barriers and promote equity. By bringing education directly to marginalized communities and supporting them beyond the classroom, both nations illustrate how cross-border collaboration can protect children's rights and open real pathways to a better future. That's it for me. Moving on to the next part.
So I'll be sharing about Malaysian government's recent effort to improve education access for migrant and undocumented children. In 2023, the government announced plan to amend the Education Act so undocumented and non-Malaysian children can register and study in public school. And the Education Ministry began reviewing old rules from 2009 that made school entry difficult and acknowledging the flaws of the system, because back then only children with one Malaysian parent are allowed to receive formal education. So the government began to draft clearer and standardized guidelines to help schools enroll undocumented children without confusion. In 2025, a multiple agency approach is being used, especially to help children in Sarawak who were born without proper birth documents. 2023 to 2025, leaders repeatedly stressed that no child should be left behind, highlighting education as a basic right for all children. This step shows a shift towards a long-term policy changes to ensure migrant and undocumented children are not excluded from education. And that's all from me. I'll pass it on to the next slide.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Maheshwari, and I'll be presenting on the efforts made by education stakeholders to ensure migrant children receive equal educational opportunities in Malaysia. So, migrant workers around the world continue to face discrimination and abuse, whether it's in employers or local communities. Sadly, their children experience the same challenges. Many are vulnerable to child labor, trafficking, and the lack of basic education. Although the government has taken steps to protect them, the issue is complex and widespread. So government action alone is not enough. This is where NGOs and private stakeholders play a crucial role. One major example is Global Shepherds, a non-profit organization that has carried out extensive work in Keningau, Sabah. During the COVID-19 pandemic, social worker Jelfrine Joseph and her team supported Filipino, Indonesian, and undocumented communities. They organized personal safety and self-protection workshops for women and children, and most importantly, they provided access to formal education. What makes their efforts effective is that teachers at the center are trained counselors and they come from the same community as students. This creates a safe and trusting learning environment. The school's principal, Mary Ann Enriquez, also actively encourages reporting cases of abuse to the authorities. And because many students had no internet access during the pandemic, the team conducted weekly home visits so learning could continue and no one is left behind. The second example is My Voice. There is an estimated 33,600 children working in this sector, with nearly 60% in Sabah. I'm talking about the palm oil plantations. while community learning centers or CLCs do provide education as part of the government efforts, NGOs have stepped in to strengthen the support system. And this is where my voice come in. My voice, launched by the Child Rights Action Hub in 2024, my voice focuses my voice focuses on reducing child labor and improving access to education through community-based solution. A key achievement is their child labor case manager training, carried on out in partnership with Humana Child Aid Society. This program trains teachers to identify risks of child labor, support vulnerable students, and raise awareness about its dangers. As stated by Riri Malika, teachers are often the first contact with children other than their parents. So training them empowers them not only to teach, but to protect and guide these students towards safer futures. Overall, many NGOs and other private stakeholders are working tirelessly to support migrant children in Malaysia. Their efforts, from safe learning spaces to community-based child labor preventions, are crucial in fighting exploitation. While many children are still trapped in harmful situations, continued support from both the government and NGOs can gradually dismantle these systems of abuse, giving migrant children a fair chance at a better future. And that is all for me. Thank you. We can move on to the next slide.
So, to conclude, the collaboration between community groups, international bodies, and partnerships has improved the migrants' children's access to education by providing safe learning spaces, academic support, and also accredited learning centers that allows these students to continue their studies and progress into higher education. Former students entering professional fields and receiving scholarships is one of the best examples of the long-term positive impact. Even then, there are still major challenges, especially with documentation issues and limited social integration, which continues to restrict true educational equity. To overcome this, more inclusive policies are essential to ensure that all migrant students, regardless of their status or their backgrounds, receive consistent and high quality educational opportunities. And that is all from us.